Was that one of the great goals of that stadium?
That, for me, should be up there, nominated, if not winning the Puskas Award.
He's actually the best finisher at the football club.
Here we go. This is going to be a good one. Man United haven't beaten us in ages. Wow. The first half, I genuinely fell asleep. This is Spurs Manchester United. What is this? Cat A game. Yeah. It would have cost a lot of money to be there in the weekend. And that first half, we're going to have to leave in the bin with the Chelsea game because it was that bad.
The decisions were wrong. Should have come and claimed it. You should just catch it. It's a weak header.
Richarlison, man.
I'd rather have like a shovel up top.
We're not the celebration police, but learn from your mistakes. What's he crying for? What's he crying for?
He's the most emotional.
The game's still going on.
Yeah, but it's just Roy Keane I've got next to me now. What are you crying for? It's your job. It's your job. What you're doing.
And you say Harry Kane come back. I think maybe a little cheeky loan bid for Ivan Toney wouldn't go amiss in January.
That's it, just shout. And
I'll go as far as saying, from 17th last season to top 4 this season, if that happens, he's got to win Manager of the Season.
hello and welcome to Inside Spurs, sponsored by talkSPORT Bet, talkSPORT's dedicated Spurs show where we talk all things Tottenham Hotspur. My name's Majestic and I'm joined, of course, by Sonny Snelling from Sonny Talks Spurs, an ex-Premier League midfielder and huge Spurs fan, Darren Ambrose. How are we?
Yeah, not too bad. I feel like we're going to get into it, but
we've got to talk about his tan first.
I mean, that's the highlight of the week, isn't it? His tan. Golden hour, isn't it?
Get a nice little week
How's retirement going, Ambrose?
To be fair, I went Tenerife and Spurs lost 2 in a row in Tenerife, so I was glad to be back, to be honest.
And did you bump into anyone nice in Tenerife?
Yes, spent the week with Tyson Fury, friend of yours, obviously. What a guy.
Ambrose, listen, you got a lovely tan.
What a gentleman, by the way. Had time for absolutely everyone.
The Gypsy King. And
my little boy actually became good friends with Adonis, his little boy.
Yes.
At one point, it was surreal. They were on each. One was on my daughter's shoulders, the other was on his daughter's shoulders, fighting in the pool. And I was like,
"That'll be an undercard."
Don't get knocked out because I ain't going to his dad and saying anything. Like, you're on your own there, son.
And the Fury Ambrose show comes to Netflix very soon. Anyway, let's talk all things Tottenham Hotspur because it has been a week since we've last done Inside Spurs. So we started with Copenhagen, a win, a victory, a great victory, although against lesser opposition. It was the perfect remedy, Sonny. We talked about this, didn't we, on the show, going into it with Maya and David. That was literally the perfect remedy. 4 goals, some good performances, a man-of-the-match performance from Javi Simmons.
Yeah, I think it was everything that we really needed to kick on. And the home form, the stadium, the atmosphere was top tier. And that was because of the performance we saw. And funny enough, going down to 10 men with maybe a dubious red card for Brennan Johnson, we somehow went up another gear. I mean, Mickey van der Ven's goal in itself is out of this world.
Let's talk about that goal because, Darren Ambrose, you've scored some magnificent goals in your time, good sir. You know, and when it happens and it comes off, like he has started literally from his own box. Polinia picks up the ball, he intercepts, great interception by the way.
Yeah.
This guy, Mickey van der Ven, picks it up and he runs the length of the pitch whilst there are defenders, although they didn't really seem to put attack in him. But the ball was so close to his feet the whole time and the finish was magnificent. Was that one of the great goals of that stadium?
100%. 100%. That for me should be up there, nominated, if not winning the Puskas Award. It really should. You look at the comparisons between Son against Burnley, because I said at the time, unbelievable goal. That's probably up there with one of the best I've seen. It's come from a centre-half.
Yeah, we've got to take that into account.
He's a centre-half. When Son done it, it was like Son has got the ability. We know he's got the ability, the finishing ability. And people love to pick out the negatives straight away. Well, it's only Copenhagen. Or they partied like the Red Sea. It's like, no, as you said, he was so close. The pace he was going at as well, the control that he was going at. They were trying to tackle him, but they couldn't
got nowhere near him.
Nowhere near him.
With Son's one against Burnley, I think that's where the comparisons come. He had to sort of get past players, whereas he's left them in the dust.
Yeah.
And also, he does that though, doesn't he?
I think Sonny was kicking into space a little bit more. This ball never left Van der Ven's feet.
And the composure when he got into the penalty area, just a left foot. He's unbelievable.
He's actually the best finisher at the football club because you've got to remember, against West Ham this season, he scored a nice little goal. Forest a few years back. I mean, we're going to talk about our attack. Might be time to get him further involved.
Put him up top.
The only thing that concerns me about that goal is it did remind me a little bit of Gareth Bale against Inter Milan in terms of in the Champions League. Look, the Premier League, of course, we know is a huge product. It's viewed by the world. But the Champions League, it's just that step up. And when you're doing it on that level, you know, the world's watching. The world's football world is watching. And that reminded me of Gareth Bale at the San Siro, turning up that night and people going, who's that? Now, I think there's going to be a lot of eyes on Van der Ven after. We knew that anyway. He's a quality defender. Mate, we're talking about his performance against Man United. There was a tackle there that was unbelievable. But I think that's the only downside with him scoring that goal, because I tell you what, the likes of Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, etc., they'll be watching, Darren.
Yeah, of course they will. Of course they will. And they would have been before that goal. We know what kind of defender he is. He's up there with... He's in the argument for the best Premier League defender at the moment, especially currently on form. So there's always going to be eyes watching him. I think he cares for Spurs. I think he loves being a Spurs player. You just hope that we can maybe tie him down to a new deal or what have you, but I'm just enjoying him at the moment. While he's here, and if he continues to be, I'm just enjoying him at the moment because, as Sonny said, you could put him up front. Like, Gareth Bale went from, left back, and then it eventually was up front, left wing. He could certainly do a job wherever on the football field, and that just shows the talent that he has. He could play any position and he'd look comfortable at that position. Yeah,
no, I'd have to agree with that. And the thing is as well, last week on the show, Sonny, we were talking about the snub from Jed Spence and Van der Ven after that game. Now, that's a way to get back into the manager's good books.
I just think he looks fresh to me. He looks fit, he looks healthy, which is, we know his injury troubles over the last couple of years. And he looks like a proper leader. I just love him to bits. It was funny at the weekend at the game. There was a moment where he did pick up the ball in a similar position, and the whole crowd went, "Oh, is he going to go again?" And he went, "No." And he did a similar thing against Manchester United last year.
Set the goal
but
up.
that one was even funnier because he's looking for when am I going to pass it? And he just carries on bombing down. But this one, he knew what he was doing, and the finish is. I think the finish is better than the run because it was quite funny actually. I saw him pick up the ball from the defensive area. Thought, I'm going to go quickly grab a drink.
You never.
And as I came back, he's on the edge of the other area, and I was like, "How has he got here?" And then I'll see the finish, and then when I watch a replay, I was like, "Oh, that's how he got there." Yeah. So I did see it.
Okay.
Half of it.
For me, I've seen both Son's and Van.
Yeah, I was there for Son as well. That was good.
Which one was better?
I thought Harry Kane's was better in that game. Do you remember the ripper against that one was better than Son's?
You reckon?
Yeah. It was good.
Son or Van der Ven. It's got to be Van der Ven.
I will pick Van der Ven, though.
The fact that he's come from a centre-half, I think it's going to be Van der Ven. And yes, whatever...
And Sonny's won of Puskas.
Yeah. I mean, whatever the opposition, Copenhagen, Burnley, that Sonny scored, it doesn't matter. It could be Sunday League. To pick it up in your own box, just outside your own box, run through everyone and have the composure to score when you're tired as well, by the way, because running the full length of the pitch at that pace takes it out of you, takes it out your legs. For me, they're unbelievable goals, both of them. But the fact of the centre-half has got to be Van der Ven.
It was a key point of the game. We were 2-0 up, but we'd just had Johnson sent off. So we needed that goal to be the clincher.
And Vicario ran the length of the field to go celebrate. He was probably inside after that.
That's what it is.
You mentioned obviously the sending off of Brennan Johnson. He scored a great goal in that game as well. That was set up by the man of the match, which was Javi Simmons, someone that we talked about a lot in this on this show in particular. It's come at a big price tag, Darren. You're an ex-pro. You've played in midfield. Do you see it? Do you see it in Javi Simmons? Has he got it? Can you tell Spurs fans, just relax. You got to learn the Premier League. It's very different. The last couple of games, I'm seeing the weaving, the low centre of gravity in between players that I wanted to see from him starting to come to fruition.
You can certainly see it. You can certainly see why Spurs have paid that much money. Look, there's a lot of haters out there. There's a lot of people that like to criticise.
You tell them, Darren.
It's true. There's a lot of people that likes to criticise, isn't there?
And they'll be in these comments right now.
Yeah, he hasn't scored, he hasn't assisted, what have you, he's worth this much money. But you have to... He's young. You have to give him time to settle in. Look at Florian Wirtz at Liverpool. There's a real comparison there. They're both fantastic players. You don't sign players for that much money without doing your due diligence and knowing how good they are. And the last couple of games, as you said, Copenhagen, Manchester United, we're going to talk about. You can see it. That the areas he gets in, the composure, the touches, the dribbling that he has, he will be a success at Spurs. I have no doubt about it.
Absolutely. And you saw such a better performance from him against Copenhagen, Sonny. I just felt he looked so much more confident. He's been played in the right position. Yeah. In that number 10. That's his position.
I think it's the confidence, because there was a moment in the Chelsea game, and I think they analysed it on Monday Night Football, where he gets the ball to feet and he literally needs to do a 180 turn and run with it. He passes it back. That's where it comes down to confidence, and sometimes you can't train that. It's got to come from within, And we've seen that in the last 2 games, that he can pick the ball up. I mean, against Manchester United, he had this really good moment where there's like 4 players around him. He drops a shoulder, but there was no one up there with him. He's getting in the right pockets of space, and the cross that he does to Moani, which he just goes over in the Copenhagen game. That's where we want him. When he's got time and space that he makes himself, he becomes a really good player, and he links up with those midfielders.
It's also getting to know your teammates understanding your game as well, and day in, day out, he's training against these teammates that are good players, by the way. And it's building your confidence in training. You pick up the ball in training, you do a few tricks, you do a few movements, score a good goal. You're thinking, well, OK, like, we're a good side in the Premier League, so if I can do it here in training, day in, day out, I can do it out there on a match day. And you can see his confidence is starting to really build now.
And it's a new look attack as well. He's playing with Moani's new, Kudus is new. They're all getting used to each other.
Yep.
So that's why, at the moment, I'm giving them all a bit of a... Well, not all, because we're going to get onto an individual. I'm getting most of them the benefit of the doubt. But Javi Simmons, he's got it in him. We've seen it against England in the semi-final.
Yeah,
he bodied Declan Rice.
On the biggest stage.
Exactly.
I just think, like we said, he's getting to grips with the physicality of the Premier League.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that can't be talked about. You must experience it. You must have known that when you went up, especially when going up like levels, when you went to Newcastle. Did you feel it?
It's different. It is. And you talk about...
Even in training.
It's different levels. The speed of pass, the speed of people's thoughts and reaction times. And then you play a pass, and it's... I come from Ipswich. It was Division 1 there, it's the Championship. The levels of passing was different. And if I played one to, I don't know, Craig Bellamy, for instance, and it weren't to his standard, they'd soon let you know. So it's developing your mentality in the Premier League as well, and that's certainly what he's going to be doing.
Absolutely. So let's head towards the Manchester United game, because the Copenhagen game was the perfect remedy after that woeful performance against Chelsea that we won't ever speak about ever again. No. Well, part of that's done. So we needed it. I thought 12:30, sun shining at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Here we go. This is going to be a good one. Man United haven't beaten us in ages. Wow. The first half, I genuinely fell asleep.
You and O'Hara.
Did O'Hara fall asleep as well?
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't at Skegness the night before with DJ Spoon.
He may have been.
He might have been there. But yeah, I was tired anyway, and I rushed to get to the game after my son's football. You're thinking, here we go. Good open game.
Yeah.
My goodness. It was looking like we were heading towards a similar game that we didn't see against Chelsea. Why was it so flat, Nas?
Well, it was added on to the Europa League final, wasn't it? It was such a boring first half. And, I feel there's a real nervousness at home. Like 3 wins from the last 21
Says so, doesn't it? Yeah.
In 5. And I think the team and Thomas Frank, we will come on to, I think they're victims of last season and what happened last season.
It's a massive hangover.
It's a huge hangover of the poor home form from last season. And it's just real nervousness. And you could really sense that in the first half, where you think after the Copenhagen that was at home, you should have just taken that one step further, taken it to Manchester United. What, the first shot on target, was that in the mid-50th minute?
There was nothing in the first half.
The contrast between first and second half performance was ridiculous.
And that's what's quite surprising, because you've got to remember, Thomas Frank's Brentford last year, 3 weeks in a row, they scored goals within the first minute.
Yeah.
And they're known for, launching the ball into that box and really but we haven't seen that yet. It feels like...
Although in that game, we did actually start quite quick and then took our foot off the gas. So maybe we're not taking the chances because of personnel reasons or whatever else. But it just felt so flat. And the stadium was flat. By the time it come to half-time, there were boos. There was boos at half-time. At the end of the day, people are paying a lot of money to go watch football, right? And they want to be entertained, as well as win and whatever else. But the entertainment factor is something. This is Spurs Manchester United. What is this? A Cat A game. Yeah. It would have cost a lot of money to be there in the weekend. And that first half, we're going to have to leave in the bin with the Chelsea game, because it was that bad.
Yeah, to a certain degree. I do feel for the loyal supporters that go week in, week out at home, and witnessing that, particularly in the first half. I feel the mentality needs to change a little bit. I think we've spoken about this before. Thomas Frank's mentality, he's not at Brentford anymore. He's at Spurs. The players' mentality, they're not last season. They're not gung-ho anymore. The defence is sorted. Defence is solid. That's probably our best part at the moment. Midfield's sorted as well. In fact, he went quite attacking. So only play Palhinha. He didn't play Palhinha Benteke, played Palhinha, went attacking. I thought, it's really going to go. Just nervous. Until they went the goal down, then they the freedom come into play a little bit. And was gutted. Well, it it's gutted not to see it out really at the end.
I think we've got quite predictable patterns of play, especially attacking-wise. If we're not going down the wing, there's not really many options. Yeah. And the problem is our wingers are quite poor. Brennan Johnson, his crossing has been quite, suspect. And then on the other side, the only person you miss from a game like that is probably Kudus. He's the one who's actually going to go at the fullback. And when you've got... Manchester United are a much better team than they were when we played them 4 times last year. But I don't trust Dorgu. I don't trust Mazraoui. And not many of our wingers were willing to go at them. It was quite a comfortable afternoon for De Ligt, Maguire and Shaw. I don't think they were tested all that much. Fernandes had quite a lot of space in that first half, and I'm thinking, is there anyone who's going to sort of close in on him? Because he's able to play that deep now because they've got the likes of Mbeumo and Cunha up top, and even Šeško, who do tons of work. So there are those moments where I think the only reason we got back into it really was because Man United took their foot off the gas in the second half, which I was surprised because I thought they could have gone for the jugular.
And their passages of play, the way they kept possession in the second half was woeful.
Yeah.
Some of the passing that was going astray from both teams.
Yeah, both teams.
But especially Manchester United were 1-0 up. You think, look, just dominate the game now, dominate possession. You could probably nick another goal because we're going to have to go for it at some point. It's interesting you say about, that our wide play because it is so predictable. It's so infuriating at times. And the irony of it all was, and I like Pedro Porro a lot, but I think when he came off and we balanced it with Udogie on one side, Odegaard, the Odegaard looked really good Saturday.
Really sharp.
That was someone who was dropping his shoulder and actually going for it. And I think having him and Udogie, I think they're building a little combination together.
Yeah. And then it's so different to how we started on that left-hand side when you had Spence, who attacking-wise, he's not willing to overlap or really offer anything. And then it was Mawani, then Richarlison, as the striker, and then they swapped. Yep. And there's still these balls being fired over by Pedro Porro. Richarlison's not winning any of them. There's no overlaps. There's no interchange in play. But we're still going down that left-hand side. And you're like, it's very frustrating that we're not getting anything from it.
Yeah.
And then that's why we're not having shots on target until the 54th minute, because there's not opportunities arising, really.
I think our best 2 fullbacks, and again, I love Pedro Porro as a player, but I think Spence should play right back.
I'd like to see him
Udogie should play left back. And as you said, with Wilson Odegaard in front of him, created our most chances in the game, and he come on in the second half.
Yeah.
I thought he was brilliant, and it's ifs and buts, I get that. If Kudus plays, I think we win that game.
I'm with you. I think this offers a little bit more. I think you're right. We didn't test Manchester United enough in the first 70 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Once the changes came, and again, don't forget, I didn't even realise Man United went down to 10 men.
Yeah.
I was sat there and I'm speaking to a friend of mine, Mark, and he's like, yeah, since United gone down to 10, I went, why have you got set up? I said, no one. We just done them.
From that unbelievable challenge by Van der Ven, by the way. That's where he picked it up.
That's another thing, isn't it, really? That there is 1-0, we're 1-0 down, they're through. What a challenge by Van der Ven.
Yeah.
You want to talk about adding another 0 onto his price. The goal went, there's one. And then that tackle there says he can defend as well.
Šeško scores that, it's game over.
Yes,
it's game over. The fact he didn't, and I say he didn't even know Van der Ven was coming. He didn't. He was head down, you could see him in the replay, head down, just about to pick his spot and slot it. Yeah. And out of nowhere, his long, and we've seen it before with Van der Ven, his long leg just come and cleaned him out. And then, a few minutes later, we're scoring, and that was the catalyst to us getting back in the game, to be honest.
Absolutely, and unfortunately, seeing that we're doing more of the negative stuff at the moment, right? Yeah. We've got to talk about Vicario again. He's back in our bad book, Sonny. He had a great couple of weeks.
It's just confusing. I think it's the set pieces, though, isn't it?
Yeah, back to that again.
I think it was Pods last night with you.
Yeah.
Sometimes in those moments, you just want him to come out and claim it. And if he gets spun in the air, he's sometimes a bit sheepish. He's willing to be bombarded with the ball from shots, but when it comes to set pieces, he's still very suspect.
The first thing that happened when that goal went in, Troy Deeney on the WhatsApp with the eyes.
Yeah.
Was it him again? Because where I was sat, I couldn't really see.
He was in the net. He was like...
He's behind the line.
That's
pushing the ball into his own goal.
Firstly, he should come out and claim it. It's going over the 6-yard box. Secondly...
That's your area.
When De Ligt headed it, you should just catch that.
You've worked with some incredible keepers. Darren, who springs to mind when you think of one of the...
Shay Given.
I was going to say Shay Given. Tell me how a keeper commands their box when you're in there.
Firstly, you don't let anyone near him. You don't let anyone near him. Either you throw them off or you get your leadership pack in the 6-yard box to get rid of these out my area. because as soon as I come, I'm going through everyone. Secondly, you're getting people marked left, right and centre. De Ligt has a free header at the back post. But even after all that, the decisions were wrong. Should have come and claimed it. He should just catch it. It's a weak header. I know it's quite close to the goal.
Punch it, at least do something.
He flapped it again. Yeah. And as much as I love his shot stopping, and he's probably
really
knackered, by the way, from running the length of the pitch. That's why he didn't come out and claim it. But once again, we're talking about Vicario, who I love as a player, but is he going to take us to that next level? We've spoken about this before. I don't think he is.
Then especially, I know our producer Kev will love this as well, looking at the weekend save from Martinez with that penalty from Semenyo and the housery of him at the end to go up to him in his face.
Yeah.
That keeper there, a World Cup.
I find him a bit overrated, Martinez.
No, I love him.
He's been living off that World Cup for too long.
I still think he's a top keeper.
I think he's living off the World Cup.
You've been living off that World Cup.
No, but people were saying he's like the best goalkeeper for the last 5 years.
He's living off that goal at Old Trafford still.
Yeah, that's different, isn't it? That's different.
Correct.
But yeah, it's a strange one with our goalkeeper situation because, again, is Kinski good enough to claim the gloves? Probably not. He's a good passer, but then he's not a good shot. So it's, my main thing with Vicario as well is sometimes he's passing. He's very scared on the ball.
Yeah, the distribution is his distribution and set plays are his weaknesses. His strengths are shot stopping and shouting at people during the game.
Blaming.
Like you're right, he's the best of what we've got at the moment.
Yeah.
But we need better.
He needs to be the number 2.
Yeah,
I just think that's the fact, and I'm sure Vicario does watch Inside Spurs, like a lot of you. I'm sorry, Vic, I love you, but listen, you keep proving to me in those moments. All of a sudden, that is huge 2 points dropped. Yeah. Because right now we'd be sat in the top 4 going into international break. Right. So, and the other, just before we wrap up some of the more negative stuff, because we do have positives as well. And this is just going to be so contradictory because we're going to talk about the positive, but Richarlison, man. 90 minutes of what?
I was going to say a rude word there, but I'll hold back. I'd rather have like a shovel up top. I feel like that would offer more like
an actual shovel.
Yeah, I'd rather literally. I said that
shovel.
Really held back there.
Yeah, I just feel like he should have been subbed off twice. He should have gone off at half time, and he should have gone off instead of Xavi Fattel. It should have been him Fattel. Yeah. I just think he is so infuriating because. First 2 games, I thought he was brilliant. Against Burnley, he showed really good movement for both his goals, and again, really good movement in the City game to stay onside and set up Brennan Johnson. But now, he is just useless. It's like playing with 10 men with him because he doesn't want it to feet. He's not good aerially. He's not quick. I don't know how he's Brazilian. He's got no flair. It's really, I'm surprised.
He's actually from Yorkshire.
Yeah.
It's all Barry. It's all a ruse.
Richarlison. That's his name.
Richarlison.
And he's just, he really winds me up. And it's his attitude. I mean, we said it the other week. He's got R9 and Neymar on his back. I mean, in the weekend where Neymar was seen moaning for Santos, it just must be, they're just cut from the same cloth. It's not good enough. He's lucky he's got no other competition because Solanke's injured. I mean, Colomwani's got a broken jaw now.
Well, I was screaming for Dane Scarlett. Is this not the perfect opportunity while Solanke's injured? Now Mawani's injured as well.
Yeah.
This could be the breakout season. I've seen someone after the Copenhagen game because he obviously won that. And we still got to...
That was a disgrace as well. He should have had that penalty.
That's a penalty. Dane Scarlett, a young man who might never, ever play in the Champions League again. That could have been his only shot. Could have at least scored a goal. So he could have been on Inside Spurs in 15 years' time going Champions League goal scorer. You know what I mean? Like... That moment's for life, Darren. Yeah, you'd be fuming if you were Dane, wouldn't you?
100% you would. And
you can't say anything because it's an older.
But someone should have probably taken control there and said, let him out. We're 3-0 up. We've won the game. He's won the penalty.
No, we was 4-0 up at that time.
Yeah, sorry, 4-0 up. We got
the game. 5.
Like, give the lad a penalty. You know, I've seen Dane Scarlett on loan at Ipswich, actually. He didn't get a lot of looks there, but I could see enough. I could see enough that he can offer something.
People forget he's 20. I think because he's been around for ages, everyone thinks he's like 25.
He could offer, at the moment, for me, he'll offer more than Richarlison. And I hate criticising players. I've been there. I've been there when you're getting criticised, and it's not nice. But he's just not... He's not the answer, Richarlison. We need another forward.
And, of course, the answer is our weekly call to Mr Harry Kane to come home. We are waiting for you. Is the drawing still up outside in the Tottenham
Oh, what, the mural?
Yeah.
Yeah, still.
Well, if
The mural's
not,
still there.
we'll create one if
We'll
not.
create one. It's
still there.
Harry, it's time to come home. You've done your bit in the Bundesliga. Right then, you are watching Inside Spurs with our partners, talkSPORT Bet. Don't forget, new customers get an exclusive offer of £40 in free bets when you bet £10. Go to talksportbet.com/Inside Spurs to claim this offer now. Right. We've got the negatives out of the way. There are some positives to take out of the game, as we mentioned already. Van der Ven, that tackle. Javi Simmons, who we're going to come on to in a moment's time. And the fact, as they say in football, Darren, you know this better than anyone, if you don't win, don't lose, right? And I do think the 2-2 result was a fair result. I think if that goal, when Richarlison takes his shirt off again, only not to win again. There's a stat that we got to talk about quickly, which is Richarlison thought he'd secured the goal, thought he'd secured the win.
Yeah.
He's become the first player to get booked twice for taking his shirt off, celebrating a stoppage time goal, only to then concede after. Moral of the story, Mr. Richarlison, or Richard from Yorkshire, as you now know, please keep your shirt on. The game's not over. And as I think O'Hara said on air, those minutes he had the shirt off is probably the extra time they got the corner from.
Yeah. Just don't celebrate. We're not the celebration police, but learn from your mistakes, Richarlison. Don't do it. You've got about 8 celebrations in one, by the way.
Golden goals only.
He's crying and everything. What's he crying for? What's he crying
He's
for?
the most
The
emotional
game's still
fella
going
ever.
on.
Yeah, but it's Roy Keane I've got next to me now. What are you crying for? It's your job.
Game's
It's
still
your
going
job.
on.
What you doing?
Your baby.
Get back. Keep your heads and see the game out.
You big pigeon baby. What's going on with Darren today? He's had a holiday and he's got all hostile. No, right, okay. So, listen, we held United to a season low of 5 shots. Of course, their front line looks a lot better. So that's something positive to look at, That first goal, it was such a weird goal.
Yeah.
It just was, even the goal was flat. It's like, well, how did that happen?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we're 1-0 down. But to come back from 1-0 down, these are where the positives come into for me. We keep going. And I also feel, even though, again, I've said we're part of the Chelsea game, I'll bring it back. Apart from that game, we always feel like we're still in the game, even with 1-0 down. What do you think? Why do you think the second half's performance was better, Sonny? What happened at half-time with Thomas Frank, you reckon?
I just feel like we knew that United were there for the taking, and the fact that they did take their foot off the gas meant that... The thing is, they've gone on a really good run, United. What's that? 5 undefeated. They won 3 and they've drawn the last 2. So they are looking a lot better.
He's not cutting his hair, though, is he? The hair, he's not like me yet. Give me some of that hair, son.
Yeah, but I feel like they're still not the end. They're not at their end game yet, United. I feel like there's a lot for them to still achieve, and they showed that, their mentality sort of slipped off. But I think what was funny was we all questioned the players that came off for Frank, but the ones he brought on, really did change the game. I think Matisse Tell, I think it did take a deflection, but the way he took his goal was like a proper striker's finish, and that's what we do want to see from him. Back
to goal and the turn. That's a difficult thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah. I thought I agree with Sonny. I thought they all done really well when they come on. And look, sometimes the manager gets lucky with substitutions, and he admitted that at the end, that yes, they booed the substitution of Javi Simmons. Majestic come on and scored.
Much better with the second ball.
And I think it was more. I think it was more the fact that Richarlison should have come off than they was actually booing Javi Simmons. Richarlison should have come off. He ended up scoring the goal at the end, which was a lovely finish, by the way. It was meant deflected.
Because we've already given him a bit of stick, old Richard, right? So now we have to give him the praise because that was a great goal. He meant it.
Did he?
No, he didn't. He definitely. Are you saying he didn't mean it?
I don't know.
No, he definitely meant it.
He definitely meant it. But do you feel that Odegaard's shot was going in?
No.
Okay, so
no, you know what? I don't. I've looked at it from different angles, and a few people, you go on social media and they say, "Oh, it was Odegaard's goal. We stole it off him." He made a clear connection, and there was a clear deflection towards the goal.
Yeah.
So I think it would have maybe hit the post, gone wide, or gone wide without touching the post. So it was a deliberate act to, whether he meant to get it right in the corner, but it was a lovely finish.
Really good.
The one thing you can say about Richarlison, he don't give up. He continues to go till the very, very end, and got his just rewards at the end.
Do you think, because we do see glimpses of a finish like that, the goals against Burnley, that we know there's a player in there? It's just frustrating that he's not on a regular basis.
I just don't think we've seen the same player at Watford and Everton. He's not got, for the price we paid as well, he's not got the consistency to play for us. And as I said earlier, I think because of the situation we have with Mawani hasn't really found his full level yet.
And he's now injured.
Yeah, Solanke's now injured, and maybe there's not a trust in Dane Scarlett as of yet. We've got no other choice. I do think his best position isn't striker either. I think he is more of a winger, but he hasn't got the pace for a winger. Yeah. So it's a bit square pegs round holes with him. And you say Harry Kane come back. I think maybe a little cheeky loan bid for Ivan Toney wouldn't go amiss in January.
That's a shout. And apparently there's been communication between Frank and his camp, or even him personally. That would be great for all parties, especially with a World Cup year coming in. I'm not too sure when the Saudi season starts and ends, etc. But
yeah, I'm not sure.
I agree.
I think
a hungry Ivan Toney that
wants to go to the World Cup comes in and scores 10 to 15 goals. That is what you'd be looking to see. Back to that Javi and Tell substitution that was booed. Some fans have drawn comparison to Nuno and the Maura Bergwijn substitution in his final game before he was sacked. What do you think that's a bit of an overreaction?
I really do. And I get asked questions sometimes if I'm out at my local or whatever. I get asked questions, would you take Ange back? No, I wouldn't take Ange back. I'd keep Thomas Frank. For me, he deserved the opportunity. A little tweak in the system in a home form. Could be going international break third if we saw that game out. And I don't want to be critical as it is, but I think we need to be a little bit realistic in what's going on. We finished 17th last season. Abysmal campaign.
First season without Son or Kane in the team.
Yep, exactly. He's come in and he's a victim of what's happening last season as well, Thomas Frank. It's a new team, new manager, currently 5th in the Premier League, unbeaten in the Champions League. That's only positive. Yes, the football, you want to change it a little bit and a bit more free-flowing, which we kind of see second half at Manchester United. I'll go as far as saying, and I'm going to ask you guys for your opinion on this. If you tweak that home form and you keep the away form you're getting, you're competing for top 4 this season. From 17th last season to top 4 this season, if that happens, he's got to win manager of the season, Thomas Frank.
Wow.
Has to. What other thing, apart from, we were speaking before, Unai Emery, when he come in, replaced Steven Gerrard and they were really struggling, ended up finishing 6th.
Eddie Howe at Newcastle.
Eddie Howe at Newcastle. To go from 17th, yes, you won the Europa League, OK, that's fine, but go from 17th to top 4, maybe top 6, he is in the conversation.
And with a forward injury crisis.
100%. Kulusevski, Solanke, Maddison out as well. Saying that, and I'll flip it, it's such a close league at the moment. Spurs are 8 points from Arsenal at top, they're 5th, and 8 points from West Ham in 18th, by the way. So it's so tight, but I just feel with the away form, we're top, and with the home form, we're 19th. Keep the away form, tweak the home form, get a few more points, you're competing for European football.
Well, only Arsenal and Chelsea and City have more wins than us. It's not a bad...
So is it only style of football? I mean, you go week in, week out.
It is the eye test in moments like that first half.
Yeah.
But again, as I say, I feel that will come good.
Yeah.
I do really feel that it just feels temporary. It doesn't feel like there's a style of play that we're trying to do and it's poor. I just think it's...
not going to be overnight
in terms of the manager of the season, if it come to my prediction, I want to add, he's navigating through a Champions League campaign as well, by the way, for the first time in his career.
He's never dealt with 3 games a week.
Exactly.
He's just had one.
And at the moment, I think he's handling it really well. He handled the snub of Van der Ven and Jed Spence. The way he came out in the media after Van der Ven's goal in midweek and said, he can snub me whenever he wants. I think he's a media darling at the moment, and he always has been, I think. He deserves the opportunity at a big club, which is what we are. But these chats of him leaving already, and I don't know where it's come from. I don't get it.
I think it's really confusing because a lot of people will say, like, even neutrals, it's boring. To me, boring is losing 22 games last year.
Yep.
Like, it does remind me a bit of, like, when we talk about Ange, like, maybe I bet you could go up to some Leeds fans now and be like, would you take Bielsa back? And they could go, yes. But the amount of people who under Bielsa with Leeds would be like, but they're so entertaining. Yeah, because they're, like, losing 3-2. Yeah. Like,
good for the neutral, not good for the fan.
Yeah.
Like, there's those moments where we've still got a Ricket in us, conceding like a last-minute goal like that, or
Hangover
PSG
from last season.
So
again.
I still think there's that mentality shift that we still need to, and I still think Frank's, we had it under Conte and Jose. So like, there is that.
We spoke here before. I loved Ange when he was here for that very reason that the Bielsa comparison. It was exciting football. I loved it. Didn't love losing 22 games. And I love being fifth in the Premier League now. I love being unbeaten in the Champions League. Whether it's a little bit boring in the first half, so be it. It's going to come good. It'll be a success at Spurs.
It's a long season. Yeah. It's a long season. And speaking of long seasons, it doesn't get any easier after the international break.
Well, it's away, so...
It's true. Away at the Emirates. Now, the high-flying Arsenal dropped points at the Stadium of Light, which you could argue isn't dropped points because Sunderland are flying. So a point at the Stadium of Light is good. Don't lose once again. But it's really hotted up the title race with Manchester City beating Liverpool 3-0. Masterclass, by the way. Haaland, wow. Just that guy. But Doku, wow, what a player they've got there.
His best performance.
We've beaten them this season.
That's what we do.
No one can go to the Etihad.
No, everyone goes to the Etihad and gets 3 points. You get battered 3-0. So, but Arsenal, they're going to look to avenge that result because they've been on such a good run. We've not had much joy at the Emirates in recent times. In the league, is the last win when Gareth Bale and Van der Ven were there? Or was it
What was it? Kabul, weren't it?
Was that the last win?
I think that was the last win in the Premier League, but the last win in general was
the Carabao.
With Dele Alli.
Great goal.
So it's due.
Yeah.
A win's due.
A win is due.
How good would it be? Look, we're not winning the league this season by any shadow of imagination, but I don't even know if that made sense, to be honest. But to beat them at the Emirates, and then if Man City get a win, it goes to 1 point. I mean, and then it's right back in. And Man City, once they get going, once they got their tails up, which they have, if they get ahead of them, it's over. And how good would it be that we're the ones to kind of halt their title, as it were?
What's the way to beat Arsenal, Sonny, from what you've seen so far?
Don't give away set plays.
Yeah.
I think Sunderland showed it perfectly, and we play this style of football. Just get in their faces, be physical, and we're playing the best sort of football now to be a kryptonite to Arsenal. They don't like it up them. They don't like the physicality, and we saw against Sunderland. They're not as invincible, this team, as they think. The Raya and the Gabriel mix up for the Brian Robbie equaliser. Sorry. There's still that, where people say about, Arteta when he lost to West Ham and Southampton a few years back. There's still a little bit there. You can see, they're still not sure. And I think if you go there, we're going to see Polina and Bentancur. It's obvious he's going to go and play that sort of game.
That's right. That's right at the Emirates. Not at home it isn't, but that's right there.
Yeah. And I think we're going to see that sort of thing, aren't we? We're going to see a physical game. And if you take a draw now, wouldn't you, maybe?
Oh, a draw would be glorious because that's 2 points dropped for them.
Of course you would.
For us, not great because it's another draw. You want to start trying to win some games. But, going to the Emirates is no easy feat whatsoever. We know that. I'm just trying to think how you stop them playing. What is Polina going to be keen to this? You mentioned Monday Night Football the other day. I can't believe Jamie Carragher was criticising Polina. Did you see that?
That's not good enough. He ain't got the ability to play these passes.
And Thomas Frank bit back, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah, he bit back and his presser saying, well, he scored a lot of our goals. He's actually creating a lot. Yeah. He's got the most tackles.
He's been arguably our best player this season.
I think he got confused with someone else.
Yeah. I think
Paulinho.
Yeah. I think what you got to do.
The thing about Paulinho, he doesn't do nothing. No, that's from years ago. But this is Paulinho. But this one's good.
Against Burnley.
Oh my goodness. Let's not talk about that.
He said he's not good enough to play those
because
passes.
I think the Paulinho kind of role is something we've missed in those North London derbies in recent years. I think Højbjerg's had a bit of that, but I just think Paulinho is another step up in terms of the tackling and the fearlessness. That guy slides on the floor, he times it beautifully, and then he tackles people.
I think you've got to pin him on Declan Rice.
I think our forward players got to improve against Arsenal. It has to. Our defence and midfield, if you're playing Polina and Bentancur, you're secure there. You'll probably settle for a 0-0 if you could, or a clean sheet. Got to improve on the forward play. And when I say improve, not just chances created or goals, they need to work hard for the team. And like you said, put it up those defenders, because they don't like it when that happens. They've got a great back line.
They get a bit rattled, don't they?
You need to rattle them.
Harry Kane's breakout season, remember that goals against Arsenal in the North London derby?
Yeah.
Dane Scarlett. He knows what Tottenham Arsenal means.
Give him a chance.
Surely, no?
This is why I was more upset about Kolo Muani, because when they said fractured jaw, I was like, here we are, get Harry Kane's mask out, like a scene from a film. And but apparently he's not good enough to play, like he won't be able to play. I was like, oh. But, I mean, it'd be a statement, wouldn't it, putting out a youngster like that, singing one of our own? Like, it would be good, because I just feel like that away end at the Emirates is going to be, you'd be privileged to be, at that game as a Spurs fan, to cheer on the boys. And I just think, we can sort of predict what that lineup could be, and I feel like Frank will do the right thing. It might be a bit more defensive, but when you are getting maybe 2-3 shots on target, they've got to be clinical. 100%. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's the issue. As you say, like, defensively, even the goals that we've given away this season haven't been like our back line's been broken and we're chasing people, or, it's been silly mistakes that we've gifted people.
Yeah.
Now, you cannot gift Arsenal anything. This Arsenal team are clinical, they are ruthless, and they will take any opportunity that they're given.
Well, you got to be 8, 9, 10 out of 10 every player on the pitch, every player that comes on the pitch. And as horrible as it sounds and bad as I don't really want to say it, you got to hope they have an off day, Arsenal, because like you said, you give away opportunities. They will punish you.
Can't be a Chelsea.
They will punish you.
Well, that's what I was going to say. How do we stop this game from being another Chelsea, especially with them at home? They're going to be right up for it. It's the year that they're already thinking they've won the league. A lot of fans I'm speaking to,
Champions League.
They've won it all.
They won the treble already.
They have won the Declan Rice scored good free kicks against Real Madrid trophy. That was a good one.
Warra.
Yeah.
At least we could do that full time.
Yeah.
No matter the result.
Have they got that trophy up there when Inside Gunners is on?
Yeah.
The Declan Rice free kick trophy.
No, but in all seriousness, how do we stop it from being a Chelsea? What does Spurs need to do? And who does it come from? Is it the likes of Romero that can raise people's energy and get them up? Because what I don't like seeing is like the players of this modern era walking to the fans, come on. And then you're not giving me that on the pitch. Don't give me that unless you're giving me some of that out there.
I think you've got to play with a bit of pride. I think that's the word you're looking for, pride and passion. Know what this means to the supporters. It should mean the same to the players. You don't want to give them any... They'll go 11 points clear of Spurs. You don't want that. Everyone, you're going into this game, everyone's going to expect Arsenal to win this game. You've got to be going out there thinking, this ain't happening. Not on our watch, this ain't happening.
Yeah, it's going to sound stereotypical, fight, grit, determination. I think that's the barest of bare minimums.
Yeah.
And, you just got to, play them at their same game. We've seen it from Sunderland. We've seen it from Liverpool against them at Anfield. If you do that, you never know what could happen.
It's going to be a fiery affair at the Emirates.
Yeah.
Straight off of an international break as well.
I'm going to keep my head down if it all goes wrong.
Because, like you said, if they go 11 points clear of us, and you're going to hear the end of it.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think there's enough talent in our squad to stop them, like, especially in those defensive positions.
Yeah.
My concern, as for all of us, is that going forward, okay, let's have it right. Saliba and Gabriel just...
They're phenomenal.
They are.
Phenomenal. To be honest, the two centre-half pairings in that game are unbelievable.
Well, their whole back four...
And those two.
Their whole back four is basically they're all centre-halves. They're all centre-halves.
But that's why you've got to disrupt that.
Yeah.
You've got to annoy them. You've got to get in their faces. Maybe it is a game for Richarlison to do that. Maybe it is. Maybe he can be a hero, Richarlison, and turn everyone's views of him around. Just need to...
Just keep the shirt on, whatever happens.
Just disrupt.
Even if it's on 55 minutes, keep the shirt on, because there's still a whole game to go, Richarlison.
Yeah, agree.
Any score predictions for that one?
I'll take a draw. And it sounds so negative, but I would. I'll take a draw.
I'd love a draw.
Yeah.
A 0-0. That would be the most... That would sum this season up, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I'd love a draw, because in that way, if we do get a win, the expectations are exceeded.
Yeah.
And we were like,
And it can't come back to haunt us if we say want a draw. And we get a defeat. Who cares?
Absolutely. Just talking about Spurs' injury list now. Wow. Yeah. You could create another team out of our injury list.
No one's talking about it, though.
No.
Apart from us, no one's talking about it.
Let's talk about Kolo Muani. Joins injury list with a fractured jaw.
Yep.
Wow. Do we get no luck with this kid?
I think he's only missed 6 or so games through injury in his whole career up until this point, and then Dr. Tottenham turned up and it's all gone wrong.
Hi, everybody!
I know.
Not getting much luck at all, are we, with injuries, as you said? And when we're heard saying it's excuses, everyone gets injuries. We've had them for nearly 2 seasons now. Like,
stupid,
not crisis. It's not a crisis, but players that never miss games are all of a sudden getting injured. For us, it's frustrating.
But what is it like? Because now we can't really blame Ange's style, because that's what we kept saying. It was Ange's style getting him.
I'll blame him still. Let's just blame him.
Yeah,
But now it's
Ange,
just-
come on.
That's who we are, mate.
Yeah.
It must be our medical team. Well, they sacked the old medical team. Maybe they're just the
Didn't
paperwork.
hire no one.
Yeah, that's, just got to sit this one out.
Yeah, I just think it's, frustrating. Also, someone put up a post from July with Dom Solanke's injury update. It said, "Oh, Dom's out because of an ankle problem. He'll be back soon." It's like, where is he?
Yeah.
Like, does Solanke still play for Spurs? I'm not sure.
People the rival fans keep going to me like, "Where is he though? Like, is he?" And I'm like, "He's injured."
Yeah.
Oh, is he? No, he's not on the bench.
Be honest, though.
He's
Be honest.
literally injured.
Where is he? How long's he going to be?
Yeah.
But they're not saying it.
They're scared to give his timelines.
Yeah.
aren't
Yeah,
they?
because they don't want to rush him back.
And he's
perhaps.
probably saying, don't say it in case I pick up another injury because it looks bad on him.
That was our
So-
issue last year, weren't it? Though, how many look at Kulusevski, how we rushed him back.
Yeah.
that was the issue. We don't want that to happen
And we
again.
did the same with Van der Ven and Romero, didn't we?
Yeah.
Both of them got injured after trying to rush them back.
Yeah.
One thing I will say about Frank, I do think he's using the squad wisely.
Yeah.
Like, even he's not afraid to take Romero off or bench him or bring him on later. Like, he knows that how important Romero is.
Do you think he's tinkering a bit too much, though? I heard some people say, is he making too many wholesale changes, or do you think he still just doesn't know his best team yet?
Yeah, I think a bit of both, really. I don't think he knows his best team. He'll know his best players, but he sees the team week in, week out, day in, day out on the training field. And I think he trusts his squad. He trusts that he can but rest some players, and the players coming in will do a job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think once we have the full squad back is really and truly the only time we can judge Thomas Frank and his decision making.
Yeah.
Because the criticism of Ange always was, you don't change your style. Even though these players aren't available, you're still trying to do this. Thomas Frank's gone, look, I don't have a Madders. I don't have a Solanke who can hold the ball up right now. So this is how I'm going to play for now. I'm going to be cautious and precautious, and then I'm going to try and grow into the game once they try and come at us a bit more and feel a bit more stable to open up. So perhaps that is something that we're really missing from our praise of Thomas Frank, is his ability to change in circumstances beyond his control, Darren.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said before, I like Thomas Frank as a manager. I think he understands.
Would you like to play for him?
Yes, yeah. Well, it seems like from what I see from the outside, I would love to have played for him. He seems to get the club. All right, he doesn't get the style of play just yet, but as you said, the players that are missing, when those come back, is that's when we can judge him. If he continues this some type of negative style of play with the players coming back, then we can criticise. But up until then, we can't.
That's a fair assessment, son.
Yeah, I feel like we've got to give him a lot of time. I feel like even at the end of the season, there's no point, even if, say we finish 8th, he's still due another season. I don't care. And 8th, and if we didn't win a cup,
is brilliant.
Yeah, I feel like this one is the one where we have to give it time no matter what.
Yes, I agree with that.
There's no I don't want all this. Ange was different because I feel like it just wasn't going to work. It just wasn't going to work whatsoever. Whereas I think with Frank, if you give him the tools, everyone keeps going, but why didn't Ange get Javi Simmons? Why didn't he get Kudus? And you're like, no, he didn't deserve them, really. I know he won the cup, and that sounds really mental to say, but I don't think he did deserve them because
I agree.
22 losses.
Yeah, I agree. Picking up injuries. As soon as those injuries come back, we'll see the real Thomas Frank, and hopefully it's the one we all think is going to be there.
Just quickly before we wrap up, just want to talk about heroes. Yeah, who is most likely to be the hero for Spurs in the North London derby?
Van der Ven.
Romero.
So they're both defensively.
Yeah.
Is that by stopping a chance or Van der Ven on a
Yeah,
run?
big header as well.
Yeah, both, I think. If they keep a clean sheet, they've done remarkable. And then if they can pop up with a set piece and a header and do Arsenal at their own game, set plays, even better.
I hope Kudus is back. Is he? Any idea when he's back?
I've only on fantasy it just says 50%. So who knows whether.
I would have said Kudus if he was in the team. I think he would have been someone that would have changed the game with Arsenal physicality, the ability. But I'm going to go with Paulinho. I think Paulinho being strong in that middle and just holding the ball up.
Yeah.
And that is where Arsenal get a lot of joy in their dominance of possessions in that middle part.
Just shows your 3 defensive players we're picked out to be heroes for Spurs.
Richie, no.
Just shows what kind of game it's going to be.
Can't say Richie.
Right then, thank you. That's all we've got time for on Inside Spurs. A huge thank you to Sonny and Darren. We're going to be back after the international break with a reaction to the North London derby. So to see us out, it's a good time to have another blast of the one and only Full coin.
Enjoy the game. Get behind the team. Up the Spurs!